Hello, today's date is February the 5th, 2015. It's 3:30 a.m. and I couldn't sleep, and I'm trying something different today. I'm actually going to be using my, I have this portable Olympus dictaphone, and it's for keeping notes, like if you're in college and things, and I just want to see if I make a video with this, how it comes out. So problem is they're WAV files. You have to convert them to MP3, and then you transfer them with the, up on the video software. I think you can use a WAV file and go directly without having to, but without having, the only problem is that it might take up more space, so I'm going to try to keep it small. As I'm doing this, I'm thinking of a name for this video. I'm going to call this video, audio video, MGTOW and African American males have it worse in the dating scene, or have it worse in, the dating scene. And I want to talk about this subject because I've noticed that there's a lot of African American males, and I'm using the term African American to decipher the difference between just saying black males, because there are black males that are from Africa who are separated by their culture. I lived in Columbus for a long time, and I've lived around, but Columbus was interesting because they have an African population, and they kind of stick to their own people. And because they do, I try to decipher between African Americans and blacks because of this, because it is a different culture. It's like saying, most of my nationality is Ukrainian, but I'm not going to say that I'm just as the same as a Ukrainian from the Ukraine. They speak the language. They have more in common with the people of their native country. So, hence the reason why I'm deciphering African Americans. So, anyways. I've noticed a lot of black African American males are on YouTube, and a lot of them are very frustrated with the whole dating thing as it pertains to their lives. And years ago I used to think that African American males had it so much easier in the dating scene, but finding out that is totally not the case at all. In fact, it's so outside the norm. And one of the biggest problems that African American males face, there's several problems they face, other than the fact that they're treated like criminals by the majority of the people in law enforcement and things like that in society. But another big thing that they have going against them is that, first of all, universally, black people are not considered universally attractive like the people you have in Hollywood. I mean, I left a comment because somebody was making a comment on one of my videos, and I made a follow-up comment, and what I had stated in this comment was that there's a trend in Hollywood today to promote these Anglo-Saxon hunky kind of guys, like Keith Urban, the country singer, is really Australian. Russell Crowe is Australian. Hugh Jackman is Australian. The late Heath Ledger was Australian. This manly Anglo-Saxon handsome look, square jaw look, is pretty much, or Kellen Lutz is another one, Anglo-looking, square jaw. I imagine you could say about pretty boys, you could say in his prime Antonio Banderas was a pretty boy, but even Mexican or Spanish is not promoted as sexy as like it is with these Anglo guys. I mean, you watch the Chevy truck commercials, it's always this blonde hair, lanky, Anglo-looking kid grabbing a big bale of hay and throwing it on the back of the truck. I mean, they're not showing a Chinese guy doing that. So universally white Anglos are considered more attractive. Hence, it's harder for blacks to make it in Hollywood unless they've got something unique about them. I know there's a lot of blacks in Hollywood, African Americans particularly. The second thing is the women in the African American community. I don't know why, as if they have this bargaining power. They tend to really put these huge demands on what they want out of a black man. So obviously, if you're a black guy growing up in the ghetto and you got a restaurant job and you're working your butt off, you're really not going to have much of an option to date, really. I mean, those guys that are getting girls pregnant in the African American community are not black guys working as dishwashers in restaurants. I'm just telling you the facts. Usually bad boy drug dealers. And it seems that and it's kind of sad, but it seems like there's this promotion of between black athletes or African American athletes and rappers. These two are the only real role models that African Americans have and aspire to be, because it's like, if we think about it, the fantasy, they're the only guys getting the women. Again, there are African American males that do make it in the college-educated corporate world. Some of them become some of the biggest slime balls you'll ever meet. I've run into some African American males in the corporate world, and they are slimy. I mean, they become as corrupted by the system. You would think that they would want to help their fellow blacks, but they don't. And I don't want to get, that's another subject. I've had to deal with a few of those kind of guys, and they're not nice. But this whole thing with this relates to dating is really bizarre, to say the least, because they just, African American males are on YouTube and they're complaining, and I think they have their own perspective. Now, I could get into another video on this, but I might as well keep it contained within this one. I kind of almost think that white Caucasian MGTOWs and African American MGTOWs have a different set of problems. Number one, I think that the African American MGTOW is extremely hyper-focused on the physical sexual act more than, say, some of the white MGTOWs. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't white, obviously, I said in my previous video I did a couple days ago, I says that I believe that TFL, which is True Force Loneliness, is the stepping stone of people that go toward the MGTOW movement. And I strongly stand by that, because if you're rejected in the dating scene or the marriage pool or the mating scene, eventually you're going to be angry about it and you're going to say the hell with it. But what I see different is, like, I look at Stardust, okay? Here's a guy that was at one time a pussy beggar. He really was trying to make this pussy thing work. I saw a video, like I said, of his where he was complaining about, or he was praising foreign women and saying, oh, I've got a foreign girlfriend now and I love her and yada, yada, yada. And it's, but I still am angry at American women. And the funny thing is that now he's kind of evolved into this more of a philosopher about women. And 2012 was a very pivotal year for Stardust. It really was. 2012 was huge for him, because that's when he went on that binge and made all those videos. In fact, I need to get the link to all those, because I went to his channel, and if somebody else has mirrored those videos, I'd like to get those. I think somebody did, and but I want to find out. Somebody had mirrored every one of his videos and put up a site about that. But that 2012 was a very good year for Stardust when he put together all those videos. And I remember it started out like in around March or April of 2012, and I used to just, I would just get the audio for my iPod. And so Stardust has evolved. An African American male who is MGTOW is this other guy named Barbarossa, but he's a pussy beggar. The guy is addicted to sex completely, and I have no respect for the guy. Besides the fact that he says both instead of both, and I think he says the word axed. I'm not positive, but I do know he doesn't know how to put the word TH together very well. And he has made it clear that he's a man going his own way, but sex is a very big part of his life. And I'm going to do a special in-your-face kind of video to him personally. I may do a talking, facial video, talking head facial video, or I may just do what I'm doing now to him, because he is somebody that is definitely addicted to the sex. He really is. He's chasing sex like there's no tomorrow. Yet he calls them. Then he complains about women. So I don't know what his get-up is. There's a rumor that he gets it quite often. If he does, why would he hate women? So this whole thing with African American males, I know they have it rough. As a teacher in a trade school, I taught in a trade school for like almost 4 years, 3.5 for sure solid, and full-time. And I will tell you that most of more than half of my students are African American. They do have it rougher. They have legal problems all the time for stupid little infractions, like they had a .22 unloaded revolver in the back of their trunk of their car, and they crossed state lines. Now they got they got a felony, a federal offense. I mean, such stupid bullshit that if a white person got caught, probably would have got a slap on the hand, unless of course you're driving through New Jersey. But they get, there's all the kinds of things. It's tough being black, or stupid little petty drug offenses, smoking weed. So I understand on one end the African American male's anger, and I'm not even going to call it shaming. I'm not going to get into shaming tactics. I totally agree. But I think that they have their MGTOW affects them differently than it does a white man, in the sense that they're not only dealing with the rejection of women. Most of them are, and I believe that most black men or African American men are dealing with higher rejection rates, but they are also dealing with the stigma of being black too, or in the black community having to deal with the type of abuse, or the African American community where they're marginalized twice, and they have to step. Another thing I've noticed about African American males is they've really had to step their standards down in order to get women. So I think what's happened is, like, they always say that African American males, or black men in this country, like the girls with the big booties and colossal sized booties. I don't think that they would settle for that if they were if they were an athlete. In fact, you look at Kobe Bryant's got an attractive wife. Look at any NFL player in the NFL that's black, okay? And I don't see any of them that date these women. They've got these colossal booties, and most of the girls they're dating are really, they're not anorexic, but they've got nice hourglass figures, and they really look good. And I think of Kobe Bryant's wife is very attractive, and there's probably several other African American athletes that have attractive wives that I've seen their pictures of these guys that are dated models. But you could think of Beyonce. She's not dating an athlete, but Beyonce's got a nice body, but she doesn't have the big booty. She's got a real nice figure. Personality sucks for shit, but she's got the great body and the looks, And that being said, I know it. So I tend to think that there's a lot of things with African American MGTOWs out there. There's so many people with their channels, and I just want to know if anybody sees a difference in this problem. Is it the hypersexuality that they're dealing with? I think it's. My reason for going MGTOW now is I more or less feel that MGTOW. I want to define MGTOW like this. I did say it's like about TFL. I don't like to vacillate. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to vacillate in this. I know it's TFL related at first, but it evolved because I'm 44 years old. I have evolved into analyzing society being a very gynocentric sponge. It has always been this way. Don't blame it on the Jews. I used to do that. I used to sit there and say, "Oh, it's the Jewish feminists." It's not. It was like this before Jews had any influence in this country. This gynocentric mentality of putting women on a pedestal, and it's evolved into this. Now, this is my issue. I don't really care that women aren't sharing their vagina with me, okay? I know I'm unattractive I don't consider myself physically attractive. My mom, my siblings will just sit there and they'll say, "Oh, you're handsome. You just need confidence." I know it's about looks but the thing that I philosophically have evolved into more in the level of Stardust is that this is a manipulated game out there. I'm not including Barbarossa, as you notice. Stardust has got probably the best stuff right now on this subject here. So, so I kind of look at it from this perspective that it is a very difficult situation for guys, and where you evolve into this point, and you start to look at this and say, okay, is this worth it? I don't know. I mean, I just get real. I wonder, what the future holds as far as this country. But is that really my problem? So, yeah, it's tough being a red pill guy. So, I've been all over the map. I'm going to go to bed. Got to wake up early. Got to do my job. Yes, February 5th, 2015. I'll see how this comes out tomorrow. But, yep, you got to, keep focused on this issue, because it's a very powerful, this does affect our lives, this MGTOW. And there's some good stuff coming out there. Really, really good stuff. You know what? I've noticed something interesting. MGTOW is evolved. I'm glad I did. I got some MGTOW videos I did from early 2012. I'm going to repost them. I've got every one of them. I'm going to repost them, and I'll tell you why. Because MGTOW has really exploded since then. There's more videos on it now. And I was thinking about doing a video on possibly like female infiltration, like Girl Writes What, and Typhon Blue, and those other characters that have come into the movements, and want to know what people think of them as far as they're concerned for MGTOWs or men going their own way, or is this kind of going to be more or less pushing toward this men's right activist stuff? I'm glad you guys have exposed Paul Elam. I got to read a letter to what happened in 2011. I still have the email he sent me. When his show first came out on A Voice for Men, I had criticized him for one thing. I said, you got a great show, but, and that but thing got me in a lot of trouble, because now you guys really see him for the slime ball that he is now, with this stupidity of trying to hijack a movement of guys that are going their own way. So anyways, that's the end of my video. I'm just jumping all around here. All right, I'm out of here.